Hey Abide, I hope you are doing well. I know we're a few days, we're going into weeks in on this whole crisis, and we're trying to bring you the most up-to-date content for you and your groups. So I'm excited that you're meeting together. I'm excited that you're able to gather still, even though it's digitally, and hopefully this will be helpful for you as you continue to gather together. I want everybody to go into their minds for a minute and go back into their memories and think about when you first got married. I know for some of you, we're talking 15, 20 plus years now to go back, but I want you to think about that time, that season in your life when you first got married and the adjustment that was living with your spouse for the very first time. And this is a good situation. Obviously, everything was good. There's a lot of excitement and anticipation when you first got married, but I'm sure that as you began, like it was for Kelly and I when we first got married, that there was also a lot of adjustment and frustration in the midst of this good thing, which was our marriage and living together, trying to figure out how to share a bed and how to share a sink and how to go about our house without it just being us, but now two people. And we're now 2 weeks into this, or a few weeks now into this coronavirus crisis, and I know it's an adjustment, and I know that this is a bad situation, but there can be good that comes out of it, just like there can be some frustrations that are negative that come out of a good situation, like being married and living with someone. I just want to say that this frustration that you're feeling, it's normal. It's typical. There's going to be a time of adjustment. You've got your kids in your house all the time, doing school, keeping your attention, your spouse, you're with them all the time, which for some of you, you're loving, and some of you just want to say, go to work, get out of here, get some time away from us so that we can get back into our normal routine. But I just want you to know that the frustration that we're feeling right now, it's normal. And Pastor Mike reminded us of that this weekend when we talked about this inward longing that we all have as believers, and this frustration that we can so often feel with the world and our circumstances, with the things that are going on around us. So for you, as you are thinking about this in this weekend's message, I want you to remember that the frustration that you're feeling, it's normal, but that we should be utilizing this time pushing our hopes and our focus away from the current circumstance into what God has promised is coming. I was thinking about the story of Joseph this week and all the various things that went bad in his life, the various trials and crises that he had in his life as he anticipated living at home with his dad and his brothers and having a good life and having all the things that he had had growing up his whole life. And then all of a sudden in one day that got ripped away from him and he didn't have the things that he was used to having. And I'm sure as he sat there in the pit and as he got pulled out into slavery and taken to Egypt, that there was some frustration and there was some concern that was going on with him. But he kept pushing his eyes forward to the fact that God had made promises to protect his people, to provide for his people, to give them a future and a hope and a land and everything that they need. And that process continued with Joseph for years and years and years until ultimately he saw the fulfillment of God's promise. Well, right now, where we're at in the middle of this crisis, there are things that we're not sure of how things are going to go. We're not sure when we're going to get back to normal. This isn't what we expected. Our lives are disrupted. Kids are in the house, spouses in the house, and we don't want to just be looking here and now to just get back to normal, just get back to what our normal everyday looks like. We want to use this as an opportunity for us to look ahead to ultimately what God has promised to us as believers, which is our ultimate salvation in Christ, where there'll be no more sickness, there'll be no more toil or labor in work in the sense that it will be a difficulty because of the curse to work, but our work will be joyful and satisfying. Our relationships won't be burdened with the problem of sin. And so as you think about this weekend's message in your group, and you think about the current frustrations you're feeling and the adjusting to the new reality, I want you to use this opportunity not just to look forward to the anticipation of what it looks like for you to get back to normal life, where your kids are at school and your spouse is at work and you can go to the grocery store like normal. I want you to think about what it looks like for you now to put your hopes and your anticipation and your excitement in the ultimate thing that God has promised, which is full salvation, a life with Him, a life without sin. That is our ultimate hope and our ultimate aim. So let that be a bit of your focus this week as you think through the message and the questions in your groups, that we are wanting to push our focus and our hope to the future, to what God has ultimately promised, and not getting bogged down in the details of what's going on here now. So I hope your groups are beneficial. I hope they're fruitful. I hope you connect well with one another. We'll see you guys next week, and we just hope you have a great group together.